This review is of General Mills multigrain Cheerios. 28 grams of whole grains per serving. Gluten free, no artificial flavors, no colors from artificial sources. I don't know why they phrased it that way instead of just saying no artificial sources, or no artificial colors, I should say. If anybody can tease out why they phrased it that way, please let me know what you think. It may reduce the risk of heart disease, but maybe. And there is that disclaimer there. Kosher. It's also a little bit bilingual. Let's see if we can find anything else. Proud sponsor of the Celiac Disease Foundation. I wonder if there's any kind of a reciprocal relationship between the Celiac Disease Foundation and General Mills because of sponsoring it. Some companies feel obligated to give special privileges or take advice from sponsors because of that monetary donation, especially if it's a very large one. I don't know if that's true of General Mills and CDF or not, but I hope not. I hope not, because that always ends up to being to the detriment of the consumers. Because nowadays corporations' main goal is to make money, and that tends to promote bad decision making on the behalf of the consumers, the environment, society, culture, religion, and everything else, and tends to promote people who are, well, let's just say they're not concerned with humans, like psychopaths and narcissists and stuff. All right, so sorry, I'll stop babbling about that. 100% recycled paperboard. Contains bioengineered food ingredients. How lovely. Now, 1 1/3 cups of this product has got 1.5 grams of fat, no saturated or trans fats, 1/2 gram of polyunsaturated, 1/2 gram of monounsaturated, no cholesterol, 150 milligrams of sodium, 32 grams of carbs, of which 3 are dietary fiber, 8 are sugars that are all added, and 3 grams of protein. It is very hard, very, very, very hard these days to find cereals that do not have added sugar. It is extremely frustrating. So 3 grams of protein, all these vitamins and minerals. How nice. It even has got B12. That's great. And the ingredients: oats, corn. Oh my gosh. So it's a good thing that there's oats in there first, but then we've got sugar in the form of corn grain. Then we've got sugar. Then we've got sugar in the form of rice grain. Then we've got sugar in the form of cornstarch. Then we've got sugar in the form of brown sugar syrup. And finally, salt, TPP, color. Yeah. Okay. And the vitamins and minerals. And then you can see it in Spanish. So let's taste it. I'm going to declaim the claim of possibly reducing the risk of heart disease because the vast majority of what's in this cereal is sugar. And sugar, it has a positive relationship, or rather a negative one, with heart disease and, of course, diabetes and other metabolic disorders. So the fact that they chose corn, why? Why would they choose corn? Well, number one, corn is extremely cheap to buy. And that is because the government subsidizes corn production along with several other crops. And so companies like to buy what's cheap, because the cheaper it is and the higher they can mark it up, the more profit they're going to get out of it. And we're the ones who are going to pay. Unfortunately, although corn now I'm talking about sweet corn. I'm not talking about field corn that is grown for animals. Well, and sometimes for us. Sweet corn tastes really, really nice, but that's because of all the sugar in it. And if you spend a lot of time and a lot of meals eating corn, it's not really going to benefit you a lot because it is high in sugars. So I guess you can look at human foods and you can look at animal foods. And if you see that corn is high up on the list, it's possibly not the best choice, especially if it's a pre-processed food like this. And given the amount of processing of this food, as opposed to, say, if you buy a bag of flour, a bag of oat flour, a bag of corn flour, a bag of rice flour, you're going to, that's just one step away. Whereas this is moderately processed. So we have two different colors in this. Yeah, two. And they're not that different in color. And so I'm going to presume that the darker ones have brown syrup in them. Tastes like Cheerios. A little bit sweet. I wonder. I'm going to try and take a few of the lighter ones. Oops, that's not a lighter one. I've got half a dozen. I'm going to take half a dozen of them. Okay. Now, it's possible that it doesn't matter about the color, that the amount of sugar in them is equal. The color is just to make it look like it's different grains, multi-grain. Yeah. So I've got half a dozen of the brown ones. There is a difference in flavor. Those have the darker ones have a lighter flavor to them, I think. So, I guess if you like Cheerios, and I'm not averse to Cheerios, I have in the past wondered if the Cheerios were giving me diarrhea from the TSP or whatever, the TPP or whatever. But I've eaten loads and loads of Cheerios in my life. So, from a taste perspective, I will give these 6.5. But, just because a package says that it may reduce the risk of heart disease or whatever, doesn't mean that it is going to really make any difference. Or that it may mean that the drop in risk is so small as to be inconsequential. These companies that make food, their goal is to convince you for whatever reason that their product is great. Great flavor, good for health, and they'll do that by a variety of tactics that are based on marketing psychology. So just be careful, because some companies choose their brand name very carefully because they want to virtue signal. For example, they want to virtue signal that they're making a healthful product when they aren't. They want to signal that they are concerned about the environment. So often they'll have the word green in their name, but they don't care. Because corporations have moved to the model of money is the god. We don't care about anything else unless it's going to get us more money because of tax breaks and things like that. We are getting screwed in this country. And anybody who tells you there is no conspiracy, there is no manipulation of laws, there is no buying off of politicians, is either part of that system or doesn't know what they're talking about. But, I'm not saying that's General Mills. Probably is, but I'm not saying it is. My opinion is they probably are part of the problem. But I'm not saying for sure because I don't have proof to back that up. I have just done enough research to know that in general, a lot of corporations are throwing us under the tank. You know, tank for war, in order to reap as much profits as possible. Sorry for ranting about that. Thanks for watching. Afia. Have a great day.